event. I do appreciate our 3 alumni here to share their stories. I'm John Beck, I'm the Director of Career Development, and I've introduced our speakers here briefly and then let them share their stories. First we have Katie DeVoe. Katie DeVoe is a...
oh, you guys are the 3 people?
Yeah.
Oh. That's funny.
Did you already individually talk to all of us?
Wait, what did you do?
AmeriCorps.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. And then you're the world race, and then you are...
So she can do the introduction.
We don't know what Steve is.
You're a AmeriCorps, and you're, what's the difference?
America's
Which-
not peaceful.
Our
Force.
Well, that'll be a great question I asked during the, I was just starting the.
Sorry, I'm just
Oh,
ruining the
good.
conversation.
That'd be a great question to ask during the workshop.
Yeah, he's cool, for sure.
I know. All right, so I'm gonna start over. No, you're fine. It's just,
I thought there'd be
we
like a
don't.
big group of people.
So did I. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just gonna like
No,
slide
you
in the
did.
bag.
Yes, I did, but this one I thought would be bigger
He's
than it was this morning.
6 to 9.
So.
6 to 11.
All right, so we'll start over. All right. I want to welcome Castle Stop.
It's going to be our blooper reel.
Oh, you're second.
Yay!
There it is.
Yes.
No, here.
Let's go.
Look at you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this one?
Oh, and first I'll remind you to throw a raffle card as well.
Oh.
At the front. I know, I saw yours in there. I didn't want to interrupt you
Oh.
when you were talking.
What's going on? Yeah, I wanted to teach overseas. I wanted to go.
But stop. All right. Oh, it's all reflections. All right. I want to welcome all of you to this workshop. This is the Gap Year Alumni Panel. We have 3 alumni that have volunteered their time to come and share their stories with you. You have an opportunity to ask them questions as well. I'm John Beck. I'm the Director of Career Development and Academic Advising. And again, this is Career Week 2014, our 8th annual Career Week. Our first alumni is Katie DeVoe. She's a psychology 2006 or 2010 graduate, and she did Big Brother Big Sisters AmeriCorps. Steve Castle Education, a 2005 graduate, and then Aubrey Wooden, social work 2006 major. Steve did the Peace Corps, Aubrey did the World Race. So again, I appreciate all of them. They all 3 have very different experiences in serving. And again, like I said, you'll have an opportunity to share, ask them questions. Before we get started, I do want to, I'll open this up in prayer, and then I'll turn it over to whoever wants to talk first. Lord, I thank you for today. I thank you for our participants, our panelists. I thank you for just this opportunity that we can hear how they served you in very different ways and different experiences. And I thank you for the students that are here. And we just lift this up to you in your name. So, Castle, I know the ladies first, but you're the oldest alumni in the room.
We used to have outline where the big red scissors.
So they're going to share what they did, their experiences, maybe how their majors, and then maybe even how your experiences benefited you and what you're currently doing in your jobs.
Well, I I was doing an online search and I found what I thought was just an entry-level position at Big Brothers Big Sisters, but it ended up being an AmeriCorps position, which is you can serve. They call it you do a year of service in America somewhere at a lot of different nonprofits, and so I really like youth, and Big Brothers Big Sisters really focuses on one-to-one mentoring between a volunteer and an at-risk youth. So I was like, I think that I might like to try that out. because, you know, I was applying for a lot of jobs and a lot of them said, we want you to have at least a year of experience or 2 years of experience, and I just didn't have that. So I thought this would be a great way to get professional experience and have something different on my resume than just Spring Arbor. And so I applied and I ended up getting it. And what was the first perk about it, I thought, was that for a whole year my loans were deferred, and once I completed that year of service, I got $5,300 off my loans. And you could also do a second year of AmeriCorps as well. I got to do everything that a full-time employee did, so my responsibilities ranged from interviewing volunteers that wanted to be big brothers and big sisters. I worked a lot in the matching process, so matching a volunteer up with a child that I thought would be a good fit, and just doing assessments of the children's family life. And I was also a match support specialist, so I got to call as sort of the mediator between the volunteers and the parents and the kid, and just making sure that the child was safe, and that the big brother, big sister was sticking to their commitment of 1 hour a week with the child, that their activities were age appropriate, and then I would sort of help if there are any miscommunications between the parent and the volunteer, which was a big learning experience for me because I realized really quickly, just working with different populations of people with different backgrounds, different upbringings, that communication is really, really difficult because people have different expectations of what they think the match relationship should look like. So I felt like I got to use my major, which was psychology, in that role because I sort of was being a counselor, just without that title, for parents and volunteers. And it was really stretching because I had to sort of say the hard things to parents that maybe they didn't want to hear, or if a child brought up a safety concern with me that I thought was alarming, I would have to approach the volunteer about that. So that was a really, really stretching experience for me. And then through AmeriCorps, we had specific requirements we had to fulfill. One big thing that we focused on that year was college positive volunteerism, which would help youth understand how they can access college easier, better, more efficiently. And then we would do trainings for really anyone that wanted to come, volunteers or just people in the community that worked with youth, that would want to be able to get a child that they mentor the right resources to access college. So we did a lot of trainings with that. We did, one thing with AmeriCorps that you do is you have to do a service project. You have to create your own. So we partnered with the city of Lansing on Earth Day, and we had our matches in the program paint this really awesome mural for the city. So it's in Old Town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's somewhere down Old Town. It's there's like a bird on it. I don't know. So that was just a really rewarding and fulfilling experience for me. I learned a lot about what I sort of wanted to do in the future and what I really didn't like to do. So
And how long you were with them?
a year, yeah. So
You pay a small stipend while you're actually serving.
yeah, so I got $12,000 for the year, which my parents live in Lansing, so I was able to just live at home, and so I didn't really have to spend a lot of that. So even though my loans are deferred, I kept paying on them because I could, because I wasn't paying rent or anything like that.
So Peace Corps, it's run through the government like AmeriCorps is, but it's more of an international organization, so it's nothing domestic.
I think they're
AmeriCorps.
older than AmeriCorps.
Yeah, 1962, I believe, JFK, when he was president, was actually like before he was actually president, he was speaking at University of Michigan, kind of challenging people to step up and be willing to serve and represent America well, and almost like a different way, than militaristically. So kind of put the challenge out there, and then that's kind of the speech that he gave there, kind of moved into the Peace Corps eventually. So they've been in 180 plus countries. Currently, I think they're in 85 or 90 countries. And as far as like the stipend and things go, we're similar to Americorps. While you're in the country, you receive a stipend that would be similar to like what a local worker would make there. So it would end up being a few $1,000 a year that we make, and then when you get back for each year that you serve, you make like an equal amount that kind of accrues in the bank account here, so you get a check for $5,000 or $6,000 when you get back, just kind of as a readjustment allowance, they call it. And then the whole time you're there, your loans are deferred if you want them to be as well. That's a 2-year commitment, usually about 27 months. There's 3 months of training when you first get to the country, and then you have 2 years serving in the city or village, wherever you place. You have a question?
Should we wait for questions after?
I don't care.
Okay. How, like, what is the training? Like, what do you learn in your training?
So the training is excellent, and I had never actually even heard of Peace Corps. And then when I was kind of looking at different international opportunities when I was getting into my undergrad experience, I was kind of sharing my heart of like what kind of things I was interested in, and found that the Peace Corps kind of match up with a lot of those. So they're very kind of locally based. So if you're working with people in the village, you're going to live in the village. You're not to commute or anything, and have a similar style of life with people. Like they do language training. So the first 3 months, basically, for our experience, which I'm sure depending on the country can vary, but Heather and I were placed with a homestay family, so we had our own little hut. It was a few steps from another family compound. They didn't speak any English at all. And so 4 hours a day, 6 days a week for about 2.5 months, we had language training. And then the other half of the day, our main project was working with education development, so we'd be learning about the Ministry of Education, how navigate education, government, all that kind of stuff within Zambia. And then by staying, within the homestay, you're kind of forced to practice the language, and then you're learning how to basically survive in the village. So you're teaching how to get your fire going, how to cook, and how to fetch your water, and all that kind of stuff. So it's very practical, hands-on training. And then, you give language skills every few weeks. You have a language test. You had to kind of progress at a certain level, and then at the end of the 2 months, you basically had to kind of have a test of 100% count day. And if you weren't at a certain proficiency, they maybe give you a couple more weeks, and if you weren't up to snuff, then you could potentially be sent home. Basically, they really worked with you. They didn't want to send people home. They had a large investment in you, but there was always kind of that pressure that they really wanted you to excel, do a good job, and be able to communicate once you got to your village.
So it's kind of like a cross-cultural trip at the beginning, or like a semester abroad. That's what I feel like the people who come back from Guatemala say, like, oh, Guatemala is a language training, and like.
Yeah, I mean I think probably a lot more intense and stuff, but yeah, it's so similar. It's trying to acclimate you holistically how to get by for the next couple of years. So yeah, similar. The projects vary. Where we were at, there were people that did fish farming, agriculture, health, HIV/AIDS stuff, education, business. So pretty much any field they could use somebody in, even if you just have like a youth ministry or something that doesn't fit in to a certain thing, especially since it's a non-Christian organization, they can still utilize those skills and that undergraduate experience to plug into different type of fields. So there's a good organization, and they have 3 goals, and the goals basically are the host country requests from the U.S. to send workers, people that can basically help with needs that are going on in that country. So that's one of the goals, and then the other 2 are basically cross-cultural communication. So it's other countries learning more about Americans and different ideas and things that we take for granted. And then on the other end, you're only there a couple of years, so all the things that you learn and appreciate, the ways that you grow and are stretched from the other culture, how do you bring that back to America the rest of your life that helps America to be a better place that's more diverse and understanding of differences. So it's kind of it in a nutshell.
I was on the world race, and I left June 2010. So it's 11 countries in 11 months. And so the goal is, basically, it's asking the question, is there more to life? And, just that wrestling feeling like there's got to be more than just a 9-to-5 job, which is okay, but like learning how to be a Christian within the environment that you're in, and really being who God has called you to be. And so the world race is you get to experience all these cultures, and and you're within a team. So you travel within a team of 6 or 7 people. Some teams are all girls teams, and then most of the time they're co-ed teams. And so you travel from country to country. In each country, you have a contact that Adventures in Missions, which is over the World Race, that they set up for you. So you have different ministry, like I did building houses in Haiti, where we worked at a lot of orphanages. We worked with women in sex trafficking in Thailand. We we did youth outreach. We did PBS. We did English corners in Asia where we couldn't outright proclaim the gospel. And so it was just a really great opportunity to just really experience culture and to experience the Lord in a new way where it's uncomfortable and it challenges what you believe and how you operate. Because in America, you have your system and you have your people, and you can just go to the store and get what you want instead of, riding on a bus with goats on top for 4 hours to get to the store. So it's just an organization that really just wants to build your relationship with the Lord while serving overseas. And something I love about it is that you are connecting with ministries that are already established in those countries. And so it's not like you're going out and doing your own thing, but you're really being the hands and the feet of the Lord and just encouraging people who are already established and just helping them build the ministry that God's called them to build. So it's just really, I love it, and it was a great opportunity to just really branch out and get out of my comfort zone. And I did it after I graduated, a few years after I graduated. So after I graduated in 2006, and then I started working at a juvenile detention center, and then I kind of got fed up with the American, you gotta work 40 hours, and just knowing that I had the skills that I needed, but also there was something more that I knew that I wanted to offer these kids as well. And so it was kind of an adventure for me to just develop who I was in the process of serving. So I went on the World Race, and then I'm actually back at my job that I started out with right after college. So it's just an experience that really shapes who you are and challenges your thinking and how you live it out. So when you go back to a 9-to-5 job or whatever that looks like, you can just proclaim the gospel in a new way, in a way that we usually don't see.
How do you feel the three of you, each of you has such different experiences, helps you in your current roles and with your current employer? Do you use any of the skills that you've learned through that?
I think that year that I did AmeriCorps, I think my communication skills grew tremendously. Just with admissions, I meet with a lot of different kinds of families, and so I think that it really helps me to understand more maybe how to read people or read between the lines of what they're trying to communicate to me, so that I can help them with the resources they need in the college search, especially students who are coming from maybe lower income populations or who have been in foster care or something like that. Since I worked with so many families at Big Brothers Big Sisters like that, I really realized that I have a different sensitivity to those things when I do have families that come up on my group of students during the year, and I feel a lot more confident in working with them and asking those difficult questions. So.
Yeah, I think any experiences that really shape you, challenge you, and grow you, and expose you to different things is going to be applicable to any job. The idea of, same as like liberal arts in general, you can learn a variety of things that are applicable in any way, anywhere, however. So I'd say probably in all ways, I think that just your perspective on the world, your communication skills, your humility, your willingness to kind of get over yourself because you a lot more out there besides yourself. Yeah, so I think it's hard to sum it up because it probably be almost in every way it shapes you and makes you better at what you do, I think. And then specifically too, the cross cultures and stuff within my current job, that obviously very directly connects that community job.
I agree with both of them. Communication is so important. Whether you're in a different culture internationally or just a different culture in America, like you're talking about, how important it is to be able to communicate and just really how to meet the need of people and understand where they're at. Because like I work at juvenile detention centers, so even I'm like, what world am I in? Because one minute I'm in juvie world, another minute I'm in world race world, and then I'm like, I'm in America, what's going on? But because of my experience, it's just helped me to be understanding, and it's given me patience with people and just an acceptance to who they are and what they're really going through. And then a big thing with world race is community. So I see that playing out. Being involved in my church is that we were a community 24/7. We could go anywhere by ourselves for safety reasons, but and so just that community and learning how to really be a church and be a body that really pushes each other forward and challenges each other's just thoughts and maybe their comfortableness and how they think. And so this community is really important. So as I'm trying to be more involved in my church, it comes up constantly.
Before I turn it over, I was going to say, if you wouldn't mind sharing what you were telling me about with your supervisor and, you know, approaching them, you went to work right after graduation, really became more of a witness to your supervisor about wanting to pursue this.
Yes, because like I said, I worked for a while, and then to go on the world race, I had already committed to the Lord that I was going to go on the world race regardless. But then the Lord prompted me to seek if they would hold my job. And so my director was like, I had to write out a whole letter, and it had to be sent to the Board of Commissioners. And my director said, you have to be ready to have a speech and answer intense questions and like really validate for yourself what you're doing and why, you know, you should hold your job. So we went to the meeting and they said, thank you so much for doing this and being a part of our community, and we will hold your job for a year until you get back. And so it was just a testimony of the Lord to move out and to try something new, and then the Lord supported that and provided, and that's one way. But then two, to my director was just like astonished because he said that never happens. That, you know, like they're an organization, they're a government organization, so that would never happen. But so he was just blown away. It was just a testimony to the Lord that it wasn't just something for myself, but it was also for the community.
Questions? Thoughts?
For travel, do you guys have to pay for it, or is it provided for you? Like when you're going from country to country or just different places?
For the world race, you have to support raise money. They set an amount at the beginning of your trip, and so you support raise, and you have until the 3rd or 4th month within the race to have it fully supported. But most people get it fulfilled before the race, and so then they take care of all of the traveling, all of the finances. So each month your team will get a budget, but you don't actually have to worry about any of that.
How much you have to raise? What months?
It is now $1,500.
1,500?
It's 15,000. Sorry. Well, I'm doing it again.
We're all signing up.
Right. Yes, 15,000. Sorry.
Yeah, piece where you get a stipend and then everything's covered, so you airfare there. Basically, they'll get you there, they'll get you home, and I think pay for the expenses and everything in the country. So like if you're there a year and want to come back and visit, that would be on
Traveled around Lansing.
Yeah.
What other kind of questions do you have?
So application processing.
For Peace Corps, it's pretty long. You start kind of with an online thing, and like you can save it online, and kind of keep chipping away at it. But typical on everything about yourself, consider resumes, and then once you get through that process, you either have an in-person or phone interview to kind of say what might be on the next process. At some point, you have to do the whole like physical medical check. And once they get the results for that, they send out stuff so you can do like a full like dental check. I didn't need my wisdom teeth out, but they made me them off. Because basically anybody that has wisdom teeth that haven't been taken out, they make you do it. But I think there's been a lot of places where like people will be out in the village and they start having an issue with it, so then they got to fly to another country and do all that kind of stuff. So I think they just made the policy. Something like that, so they're just like, all right, so a lot of like weird little oops. So I would say it's like 9 months to a year, probably from starting the application process to like find it out. Chosen whole country.
And then there's a lag before you actually start.
Yeah, it's like when we got our packet, it was like 6 months, like you're leaving, you have 2 weeks to let us know if you're gonna do it. It's like self-destruct. That's the last part. Yeah, and I think.
So now.
Yeah, so Heather and I started like end of our junior year, and ours took longer because since we were getting married, like, they always say to wait till we actually were married, and then they had to find a place for both of us. Where if I was just going, it'd be easy to plug me into just teaching at a school where, since her background was youth ministry, was finding a place that both of our degrees could work together. But yeah, like Badger Moose is over there right now, Sierra Leone. So I think he's like 8 to 9 months now to finish.
What was the application process for your 2 experiences?
I had to apply. I was interviewed by Big Brothers Big Sisters, so I did like a big presentation for them. I was there for like 5 hours. I was really exhausted. I was there all day. And then I also had to be approved through AmeriCorps, so I had to fill out the application for Big Brothers Big Sisters and AmeriCorps, and then do the interview with the agency, and then with AmeriCorps on the phone, and then they both approved. So that took like a normal amount of time, a couple weeks.
The World Brace is very simple. It's just a short questionnaire online about your background history, your testimony, and why you want to go on the World Race. And then you have a phone interview that's 30 minutes to 45 minutes long. And then they let you know within a week of your phone interview whether you're accepted to go on the World Race or not.
What is it like in the Peace Corps where, how do they respond to like people who are Christians or just like religiously? Because they're not like.
Turn the tape off for this one.
You're welcome.
So because it's a good organization, like you technically can't proselytize. So I mean, I wouldn't go around handing out tracts and evangelizing, but where we were, like there was very few Christians that were in the Peace Corps, like our volunteers. The country we were in, it was majority like were Christians, so it was like 80% of New Zealand would be technically a Christian nation. So even for people that are atheists that were in the Peace Corps, they said it wouldn't be a bad idea to be like go to the church sometimes because that's where all the community stuff happens. So it actually might help you work, but they definitely didn't like encourage it or say you needed to do it, but they weren't opposed to it by any means. So if you're like in a mostly Muslim country or something, it'd probably be a little different. But yeah, when we were there, I put on Easter seminars and preached and opened church, stuff like that. So like in your reports, you'd say like help facilitate the building of a community center, which it was. So it would be within the church. So it wasn't like going doing evangelism in like 100 places and villages, but I was a part of that church for those 2 years. I mean, technically, if you work for AmeriCorps, you're part of the church across the street. And the church asks you to speak and stuff, you should be able to do it, because it's still just part of it. So yeah, we didn't make a big, noise, we'd go to meetings in the capital city and say like, oh, we're going to some other church, but at the same time, I never asked or checked or like, I don't know if it was technically wrong or anything, but.
Okay, so like it probably totally depends on where you're placed.
have to be delicate about how to do it. Show discretion, sort of same as a public school teacher needs to use discretion in how they utilize.
You said you have projects too?
Yeah, ours, rural education development was the main title of our project, but a lot of it's really open, where they, if this project you're trained to do, you get to the village and it's like there's not a ton of interest, or it's stuff that's not going to be sustainable because there's not buy-in. A lot of you build relationships and figure out what is it that they want and need, and what you don't have money to give or anything, so you're trying to build local capacity so that it's once you leave, it's still a sustainable thing that you keep going. And they even tell you your first 3 months that you get to the village, don't do any work, build relationships. And it's like, as a Westerner, it's like impossible to do. You're like, I can't do that, and especially you're in the village, there's nothing to do. There's no water, electricity. It's like, I'm gonna go totally stir crazy. I gotta do something, but it's like they have that built in. That really, they're not gonna check up and say, are you doing any work? But they encourage you to try not to start any projects or anything, because you need to build rapport, build relationships, and you need to actually know the village, know the culture before you start, guns blazing coming in. Yeah, and the language, and so it's kind of give you that freedom to take your time. It's hard for us to do.
How did you feel using your social work major while on the road race? It's like Katie was talking about with her psychology counseling.
Well, social work helped, and working, having experience working with groups and teaching teenagers how to communicate and express their need and stuff like that really helped on a team level, because you're with each other 24/7. So just on a basic team level, it really helped to get along. To be honest, you're with them all the time. They become your family, and you know how you interact with your family. So to do that, but then also it was cool to be able to be with certain ministries and to be able to help them with their ministry. There was one ministry we were at, for example, we were at an adult orphanage in Romania, and so they were just having problems learning how to help the women go out and venture out and get jobs, because that's not the norm of their culture, but they're by themselves, they're orphans, they've grown up orphans. So just being able to help them kind of build up their program and help their women be successful was really awesome.
We have time for probably one or two more questions. I do appreciate the three of you being here and your time to share your stories. I appreciate all of you being here as well. And I'm sure they'll be sitting for me if you have other questions you want to